Are we all with me? I hope so. Okay, let's start with completing the square. Just as an indication in the chat, please let me know if you have done completing the square before or you know how to. Just want to have an indication of if you guys have ever actually seen this before. We started on Monday. Okay, wonderful. So you guys have seen this before. Okay, we started today. Yo, what a difficult. Yes, Loyola says yes. I'm not sure if it's the Monday or I have no clue what it is. Long done with that topic. Also started today. Okay. It's fine. Let's continue. So those of you who have already seen this before, I am relying on you guys to help us through this, okay? For everyone who is still confused right now, I have an idea. Thank you, Connor. Okay, so let's talk about solving quadratic equations using computer squares. So if we're solving an equation, we want to end up with x equals something, right? That is the point of solving an equation. So what we're going to do here is we're going to complete the square bracket of these two terms. Okay, so I think before we do that, I'm going to start with having x plus, let's say, 5 squared. Okay, when we square out this bracket, expand this bracket, how do we do that? Just tell me in the chat very quickly. Or raise your hand. I would actually prefer you raise your hand and unmute anyone who's willing to talk to me. No? Sky, there we go. Hey, Sky. Sky. Are you there? If you're on a phone, just swipe and press speak. No?
We lost Sky.
Okay. Rabetsi?
You start by making two brackets. Okay. You open the two brackets.
So this. Okay?
Yes.
And then? We multiply it out, right? So you're going to say first term times first term is x squared. First times that is plus 5x. Same with these two, plus 5x. Plus last times last, which is 25. And then you end up with, nope, of course I'm going to write 2 and it's right x. No x. Okay, then you'll be left with x squared plus 10x plus 25. So, guys, so do you agree that with these two terms, we had to double them to get to 10, right? So you said x times 5, and that gave you 5x, but then you had to times by 2 to get your 10x. Do you all agree? Okay, or can you all see that now? If you hadn't seen it before, can you see it now? To get your 10x, you say 5. The 5 was in the question, my dear, in the brackets. I made it the question. Don't look at this that's on the side. We're not working with this right now. We're doing a different thing now. This is what we're doing. All we did was FOIL, guys. Not tricky. We said a bracket squared and we FOILed it. We times it out. We added our like terms. Okay. Yes, there we go, Alyssa. So we doubled this term, 5 times x, and we doubled it. Do we all agree with that? This dude over here. Okay, Cash, C, you're going to have to raise your hand and speak to me and say something. Okay, and then for this term, we take this same term and we squared it. So it was 5 squared. Do we agree with that? So this was 5 squared. And this was 5 times 2. We agree there. I'm going to leave it there for now. I just want to know that you guys agree, and then I'm going to leave that 2 there for now. So you double and square the term. We're getting somewhere, Petefo. You're going where I want your brain to go. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let me leave that on the side. Let's talk about, we're doing the inverse now here. Okay, completing the square. So now we're going from what was possibly a trinomial, 6x equals, what happens if I take this 12 over? We're getting rid of this 12 because it's not a perfect square, right? If you factorize this, it will not be a perfect square, so you get rid of our 12. What happens if it goes up? Thank you, Peteho. Becomes positive. So we want to know what term is missing here in order for this expression to give us a perfect square bracket, such as this dude that we have over here. Okay, so we want a bracket that says x plus something squared. Thank you, Uabile. So since we doubled here, what's the opposite of doubling? Well, the inverse. I need to stop saying opposite, it's a bad habit. Uabile has so nicely told us that you halve it. Opposite of doubling is halving. So you're going to say 6 divided by 2 squared, because we squared it. Am I done, guys? Am I done? The people who've done this, I can tell you all of you have done this before. What do we need to do, Mpo? Tell us what we need to do. Subtract it also, because I have changed the equation. So you can either add it on both sides. So you can go this side and say 6 over 2 squared, right? There's 2 of them. Or you can subtract it on the side as well. But I prefer to write it like this, because what you do on one side, you do on the other. Petejo, when they say transpose, they mean the whole moving thing. Like, you know, when you move it over and it becomes negative and blah, blah, blah. That's what they're talking about. Okay, so confused. Sonic, you're going to have to tell me where I lost you. Okay, we need specifics. Okay, now I'm done for this because I just wanted you guys to see the inverse operation of Isa. There we go. Isa, how can I help you, my dear?
Hi, ma'am. Since you transposed 6 over 2 squared to the other side, how come it's still positive?
I didn't. I just added it on both sides. The ones who are saying transpose, this is what they mean. Eh? Look carefully. 6 over 2 squared minus 6 over 2 squared. Can you see what I just wrote? Hello? Okay, I lost her. Okay, whoever asked why it became positive when it went that side.
Yes, ma'am, I saw.
There we go. So you can either add it and subtract it on the same side, because anything subtracted by itself is just 0. So if I say 2 plus 3 minus 3, it just remains 2, right? You don't change the value of the equation. Do you see? Or you can go and add it on both sides so that your equation balances. Okay, so it's up to you if you first want to do this and then transpose it. So from here on, you're going to move it over to the side, and then it looks like this dude over here that we wrote. Of course, my stylist is going to be like, I'm not cooperating with you right now. This dude over here. What's a perfect square? Ma'am, it's a number or expression that you can square and get whole numbers. So for instance, 16 is a perfect square because you're going to get 4. Okay, 1 is a perfect square because you're going to get 1. 5 is not a perfect square because you're going to get 2, comma, blah, 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 blah. Do you get it, Alyssa? Ma'am, how do we get 6 over 2 squared? It's the inverse of when you square a bracket out. Were you here from the beginning? In the beginning, I explained why we are dividing and then squaring. Okay, that's the only way you're going to get a perfect square bracket. The 6 we got from term B. So here's our 6 that we're using. Okay, so you take whatever is here, you divide it by 2 or you half it, and you square it. But if you're going to add it on the left, you have to add it on the right. Or if you're going to add it, you have to subtract it so that the equation stays balanced. Do you understand, Sinesiko? 6 over 2 is half of 6, basically 3. That's correct. Okay, so let's finish off. Let's finish off and see. Why doesn't the sign of 12 change? It did, my dear, because it was negative 12. You see it was negative 12? We moved it to we transposed it to the right-hand side, so it became positive. I hope you can see that. Okay, ma'am, what if you take 6x and multiply it by half? Is that wrong? No, it's the same thing, okay? Dividing by 2 and multiplying by a half is the same thing. Okay, guys, I like your questions. Keep them coming. So on the left, you're going to have 6 squared, x squared, sorry, plus 6x. As you said, 6 divided by 2 is 3, squared is 9 equals 12 plus 9. Tell me what else my square brackets are. Factorize the side. Okay, I'm just adding. Factorize the left-hand side, everyone, and tell me how much you get. Factorize your x squared plus 6x plus 9, 3 and 3. Thank you, Karen, Pila. Kopoto is already finished and done. And thank you very much because you're correct. Good evening, ma'am. I trust you're well. When you move, doesn't it change operation? Remember, the first one I haven't moved. I just put it on the right-hand side. Okay, this one wasn't moved. But if it was moved, it would have been plus, minus, it would have been this one, and it would have become positive anyway. Do you see that? So it does change operation. It goes from negative 6 over 2 squared to positive 6 over 2 squared. The word positive one stays on this side. Pila is ready. Pila wants to take my job. Okay, so this is, we have x plus 3, x plus 3, which is the same brackets. 3 squared. Whoever asked what's the perfect square, that's what I was talking about. How do we get rid of our square? Square, I almost said the answer, but how do we get rid of our square? We square root. Square root. But what do we need to remember to add on our left-hand side? What do we need to add on our left-hand side when we're square rooting? I'm going to write it there, but to give it space. I can see there's something in the chat. I hope someone, plus, minus. Wow, Connor is committed. Now I want to see the videos because I want to see you guys doing the square root sign in the A also. I also want to see it. Okay, so we had the plus or minus. So on the left-hand side, our square root and square will just cancel each other out. So you'll be left with x plus 3 is positive or negative, the square root of 21. Transpose your 3. So it's going to be negative 3 is positive or negative, square root of 21. For now, you can leave it this way. If they ask for 2 decimal places, you just use your calculator. Yes, I saw a hand. Pila? Hello, Pila?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So since you left your answer like that, can we like further simplify it and say that negative 3 plus root 21 or x is equals to negative 3
Yes.
minus 21?
Yes, you may do that. And if, as I said, if they say give it to 2 decimal places, then you actually have to square root the 21 and find out how much it is. And then say negative 3 plus that amount or negative 3 minus that amount.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. My label has given us an answer. Ma'am, why do we square root? We square root because we're getting rid of the square that we had in the bracket. Remember we had x plus 3 multiplied by x plus 3. So that's the same as saying 2 multiplied by 2, which is the same as 2 squared. So we just wrote the bracket as a square. Okay. So when we wanted to get rid of that square, we square rooted both sides. I hope that explains it for you. Hope you guys are happy. Yes, we're doing another one. Ma'am, can I say x equal plus or minus square root of 21 minus 3? No. Remember, the tricky part with subtraction is you cannot change the order. Okay, so the negative 3 has to come first. Okay, so it's a negative 3 plus root 21 or negative 3 minus root 21. So I can leave Sake, I leave it in square root. Okay, just listen to your teacher, but I used to leave it in square root quite often, unless they ask for decimal places, then I would just simplify it further. Okay. Oh, where's the hand? I'm sorry. There's more, guys. Leave A out because it's the same square brackets and I don't like that. Leave this out. Please do D for me. Shaquille, we are going to use the quadratic formula, okay? This is just to show you where it comes from. So let's just do D, and then after that, we're moving on to the real stuff for today. Do D for me. Everyone who wanted to do another one, let's do D. Let me give you guys a few minutes because you guys are really enjoying this. If you have questions, please use this time.
Teacher Cat, we have a hand from Cat.
That time I'm asking for questions and I can't see it. Yo, hi Cat. I like the vibe. Cat and Cat. What? Hi.
When it comes to exam questions, are they going to say solve for X? Or when they
Yes.
ask for X?
They're going to say solve for X, né? It is up to you to check whether you can just factorize using the normal way you factorize trinomials. But if you look at the trinomials we have on the board right now, it's not easy to just make 2 brackets and figure it out, right? So you would have to use an alternative method, but they would not necessarily tell you that you have to complete the square. But to be honest, there's a much easier formula. We're just showing you where it comes from. But this is a useful skill to have. So please, ne?
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. So remember, guys, with factorizing, before we even got to, sorry guys, I know I scrolled out, but someone asked me to. I feel like now you guys can't see. Let me move this up. Remember with factorizing, guys, even when you were in like grade 9, 10, 8, you have to, go through the list in your head. Like you have to check what works and go through the list in your head, because the question will say something like factorize, and it's your responsibility to check, okay, is a difference of 2 squares, is it a trinomial? Can I factorize by taking out a common factor? That's still how it works. So if a question says factorize, you go down that list in your mind. So you check, do I have a common factor? If you do, then you take it out. Can I make 2 brackets and factorize it? Stuff like that. Stuff like that. So it's your responsibility, guys, to figure that out. Then once you know all the formulas comfortably, then you can just choose, right? Unless your teacher says use complete the square, then it's really up to you to choose whichever one you're comfortable with. But in some cases, you will not be able to just make 2 brackets and solve it. You will have to use some sort of alternative. Please scroll up, okay? How far? I hope that's far enough. Are they correct? We'll go through them just now. Just give me 1 second for someone to screenshot. I see mainly the same. I think the only problem is signs. Some have negative 9, some have positive 9, some have positive 5, some have negative 5. Lumka? Lumka? Are you there? Yes, you are supposed to get 2 answers. Remember, with quadratic equations, you always get 2 answers. It says x squared. So you always get 2 answers. Lumka, are you there? Okay, Lumka will chat to me when Lumka is ready. Let's complete the square. Okay, we have x squared minus 4x, and I'm getting rid of Mr. 45 to the other side equals 45, right? And then plus 4 over 2 squared minus 4 over 2 squared equals 45. So then we have x squared minus 4x plus, it's still 4, equals 45. And our bracket will be, am I doing the right thing? It looks like it, so I'm just going to keep it going. 45 plus 4 squared. Sorry. Okay, that's a square bracket. So then we're going to square root both sides. So you're going to have the square root of x minus 2 squared equals to the square root of 49 plus minus. So x minus 2, okay, should probably fix my stylus and stop looking like I am retarded. X minus 2 is equal to plus or minus 7. Therefore, x is equal to negative 2 plus positive, goes over to the other side, so it's positive. Positive 2 plus 7, or x is negative positive 2 minus 7. So x is equal to 9, or x equals negative 5. Whoever said 9 or negative 5, we got it. Who has questions? Questions? Please move up a bit so I can take it. There we go, Paul. I'm hoping it's this question, unless it's the one at the top. And why did you add 4 to 45? Because they cancel each other. No, remember, I used this 4 to make the square bracket. Otherwise, you can't factorize. It won't be a trinomial if you only have 2 terms. Okay? Letty, so pay attention. This one was used to make the square bracket, and then this one was transposed. You see that? I got negative 9. You might have made the same mistake as me, because when I took the 2 over, I kept it as negative. I think that's where the mistake could have been. So if you took the 2 over and you forgot to change it to positive, then you're going to get the similar answers, but the wrong operation. Got it. Cool. Are we feeling confident about this? Completing the square. Not that bad, right? Oh, nope, not needed. We're going to go to what we need to do today. Remember, I don't understand your method, but when I do the correct form, I get the same answer. So is it fine? That is fine, but this is just to show you where the quadratic formula comes from. You're going to get the point of this whole thing just now, okay?
But teacher
Now,
Cass,
mm-hmm.
Sorry to just jump in. Won't it be that sometimes a certain question will want you to use complete the square?
That's true. I've really run into them, but they will, in grade 11, since they want to make sure you have all the necessary skills, guys, they could just ask you to use complete the square. So if I were you, I would learn how to use, or they couldn't ask them, they could even ask them to derive this formula for for quadratic formula. So you would have to know how to derive it, and you can only derive it by using complete the square. Okay, let's go back here and answer the questions of the people. Okay, someone says, why did we square root? And someone says, where is x minus 2 squared coming from? X minus 2 is coming from factorizing this part over here. Okay, so remember, if you have x squared minus 4x plus 4, then I have 2 brackets, right? It's going to be your x and your x. This dude tells you that it's the same symbol on both. And this dude tells you that it has to be negative, negative. Okay, then you go to your factors of 4 that give you 4. 4 and 1 will not give you 4 because it will be negative 4 minus 1, which is negative 5. So we don't want those 2. We need to use factors that are 2 and 2. But then it's the same bracket. And that's where x minus 2 squared comes from. I hope I answered that person. And the next one who said, why did we square root? We had a square right after the step that I just showed you, we have a square. And how do you get rid of a square? You have to square root. But what you do on the left, you have to go do on the right. I hope I'm explaining well for you guys. And I'm glad some of you are more confident. Okay. You
Teacher
different,
Kat,
right?
can you take a
Mohau.
question from Mohau?
Okay, Mohau. Mohau.
Mohau, I'm asking you to unmute, please. Click
If
that
you're on your
button.
phone, swipe to the left, I think, and say speak. There we go. Hello.
Hey, ma'am, I have second option about
Okay.
this trinomial. I
Okay.
use this method. First step, we look at the coefficient of x.
Did you just factorize, like using two brackets?
No. First
Okay.
step, we look at the coefficient of x, which is -4.
Okay,
Then
this one.
yes. Then we add half of the coefficient squared.
That's what we did, my dear, isn't it?
But in the second
Oh,
option,
you just showed me something very important, guys. How did no one else notice this?
we
There.
add half multiplied by the coefficient of x, which is -4. Then we
Yes.
square.
Okay, look
Then
at the what we have on the board now, yeah?
yes,
All we missed was the negative. Do you see that?
yes,
Because half is the same as dividing by how much?
by 2.
By
by
2.
2.
So you say
Yes.
the coefficient of x divided by 2, and we,
We square each.
there we go. Do you see that we did it?
Yes. But what we do in the left-hand side, we also do at the right-hand side.
Right-hand side, yes. But all we did was we chose to transpose it. Remember up here, I showed you that. In this case, I did your method. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I halved it and squared it, and then I went and did it on the right-hand side. But then I was showing you that even if you added and subtracted on the same side, you're going to end up with the same answer. Do you see that?
Yes.
There we go. So your method is perfectly fine. And thank you for showing me my mistake. We all missed that apparently, but thank you. Ne?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. For everyone asking for a different formula, you are in luck. That is the next order of the day. I'm just going to explain this and then we'll have a brain break and then we'll practice. Okay. Okay. Not difference of two squares, completing the square. Completing the square. Let's talk about it, okay? We have our trinomial, yeah? Ax squared plus bx plus c. What was the first step in completing the square in our other sums? Okay, I need the chat. I should probably open the chat. It did not change the answer because we squared it, my dear. Remember? -3 squared and 3 squared are the same because 2 negatives still give you a +9. Do you see? Another method besides the quadratic formula, I don't know of a method. I don't know of method, and it's a useful skill to have. They really like you guys checking this. Petejo, I hope I answered you. It won't change the answer, but please be more accurate. Don't make the same mistakes as me. I also make mistakes, guys. I've been doing maths for a long time, but I still make mistakes. So just be careful, okay? In this case, we got lucky. Which formula, it depends on you, Tato. Whichever one you feel comfortable using better, do that, okay? But if I were you, I would practice all of them in case they ask for a specific one. Okay, so now we are completing our square with variables. So we have an ax squared plus bx. And just as we did in the previous sums, we get rid of our constant. Okay, so all I did was take this c and move it over to the other side. If you do not get this derivation, just go rewatch the video. again. I promise you, if you watch it again, it will make so much sense. Okay, so step one is we got rid of a constant. Are we all with me? Now the problem is we have this dude over here, coefficient of x squared, and we don't want him. How do we get rid of that coefficient? Give me ideas in the chat. Connor is having so much fun. I am missing all of it. I can't see anything from my side. Connor is even laughing. Yo, I found corn. Oh my gosh. Okay, everyone says divide everyone by A, and that is true. So we divide everything by A, and so let's do that. So we go here and we say divided by A, divided by A, divided by A. So here, our mission has been successful. We're left with x squared plus, okay, I'm gonna write this on the side so that it's easier for you to see what I'm gonna do just now. Equals negative C over A. Okay, now we are happy. So what are we supposed to do with that middle term? See, this is where our completing the square comes in. We are completing this bracket. Remind me again what we did to middle term over here. Jeez, that was terrible highlighting. You. Yeah, but also these colors suck. Let's take pink. Okay, remind me again in the chat. What did we do? Double it, not necessarily. Halve it, yes, we halve it. Then what else? We did two things. Thank you, Corinne. We halved it and then we squared it. Yes, that's what we're doing, Siam Tanda. We halved it and then we squared it. So I'm going to do it on the side here. You guys will take screenshots when you're done, okay? So we're going to say B over A. Halving, we said, is the same as dividing it by 2. And then we're going to square it. Dividing by 2 is the same as timesing by a half. I hope you guys agree with that. Okay, equals B over 2A squared. Are we all with me? Are we all with me? Do we see what I did there? Nope. Petejo, where did I lose you? Unmute. Petejo, unmute or tell me in the chat. Ma'am, please repeat. Okay. Remember just now when we were what do we do? I even forgot because I'm reading all your chats. Completing the square. There you go. When we were completing the square, we would half the middle term and then square it. So I said to you, halving is the same as dividing by 2. So here, halve it and then square it. But divide by 2 is the same as timesing by 1 over 2. Then you just say B times 1 is B and A times 2 is 2A. But then you still have Mr. Square on the outside. So that's what all I was doing. I was doing all of that on the side before I pop it back into the formula. Okay. Okay, you see now. Okay. So now we have found x squared plus B over AX plus our little sum that we did over there, which is B over 2A squared equals what we do on the left, we do on the right. If you first want to write it on the left and then transpose it, that's fine, guys, that's fine. Do whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? Then we need our square brackets on the left. I'm still completing the square. Okay, it's going to be x plus B over 2A. We already know what goes in there because it told us there, equals negative C over A plus B over 2A squared. Okay, squared. You guys, nobody's reminding me to put my square. Guys, if you don't get this, I promise you it's not as bad as it looks. Just watch the video slowly if you even want to know how to derive the formula. Okay. I would suggest you do. Okay, those going for distinctions, this is your playpen. Okay, and then you're gonna have x plus b over 2a squared equals negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. I just distributed this square to everyone, okay? B times b squared, then 2 squared is 4, and a squared. So what's the LCD on the right? Quickly. What's the LCD on the right? I saw such stories. Get rid of the A left before transposing. Which A? I'm not sure. This is being recorded, my darling. So if you want to rewatch this, you go on the website. Just give it 48 hours. Then it'll be on the website. Then you can watch it as many times as you want. You can rewind. You can pause. Here we go. Why is the 4 squared? It's not squared. The A is squared. I took away the bracket. Nope, guys. Lowest common denominator means they must both have it, right? So it has to be 4A's. Guys, you need to go revise grade 8 or something math. After dividing by 2, it isn't. There's a 2 at the bottom here. Do you see it? So it was B over A, but now it's B over 2A. Okay. Okay, so then you square root, no, first you have to add everything over the LCD. So on the left, we still have x plus b over 2a squared equals, and now you have your LCD. So you have to times here by 4a times here by 4a. You don't have to change anything with this term because it's already over the LCD, right? Just keep it the way it is, times 1 over 1. So you'll have, on your left, right-hand side, now you'll have negative 4ac plus b squared all over 4a squared. Then you square root both sides and you have our quadratic formula. Don't be times by the lowest, but it has to be the lowest common one. They have to both be there. Okay. Isn't all bases lowest exponent? Very confusing. What type of question? What marks? My English is just like peace out. Guys, lowest common denominator. It's like finding the lowest common multiple. You cannot have the lowest multiple. Like between 3 and 6, it cannot be 3 because 3 is not a multiple of 6. Do you guys understand? So it has to be 6 because both 3 and 6 can go into it. So you have to find something where both A and 4a squared can go into it. So it cannot be A because then the other one, it doesn't make sense. Why don't we multiply by 4a on both sides? Because you're trying to get x on its own. We're trying to get x on its own. If you multiply by that on both sides, you are going to be confusing the process. Okay, so once you square root everything, guys, this is where you must be left up. Let me fill in that step. Square root everything, you're going to be left with x plus 2b over 2a equals, plus minus, don't forget it, b squared minus 4ac over the square root of 4a squared is 2a. And then you take your b over, and this is the dude we have. Okay, so all of that was just to find the quadratic formula. Isn't it 2a? What 2a?
Sorry to just jump in. How much would a question like this usually count for?
A proof is usually like 7 marks. It's a lot of marks for a proof. But this is literally just a proof, guys. It's not a general question that you would get in an exam. It's a proof. It's a derivation. They say to show how you derive the quadratic formula using completing the square, and that's how you would do it. Why would you become smaller when I'm trying to move you? What's going on with this page? There we go. Okay, so now that we know where it comes from, let's just use it. I have a feeling your brains are tired. So all you have to do here is identify what? A, B, and C are. So in the chat, tell me quickly, A equals this, B equals this, C equals this. They gave you 3 marks. Yo.
That's awful.
That is awful. Mohau?
Yo.
Mohau?
A is equal
There we
to
go. A is equals to?
2.
Mm-hmm.
B is equal to 5.
And C?
Then C is equal to -4.
-4. Now, everyone, you have 2 minutes to go substitute and tell me what your 2 values for X are. Well, I do it on the screen. So you guys
Go
do
ahead
it.
and try it out, guys.
Substitute your A and B and C's and see what you get. You will get 2 values for X. This is a quadratic formula. So you're supposed, oh wait, you probably need the formula though. Okay, let's do this. Because I want the space that's on the side. There's your formula, and there are your A, B's, and C's. Thank you everyone for A, B, and C in the chat. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's okay, baby. Whichever one you're doing, we can do it together and see if your answers are correct. Okay, let's see what we have. Usually 2. How many decimals? 2. 2 decimals. Sometimes it even says in the beginning of the test, guys, pay attention to that. It says, where applicable, round off to 2 decimal places. Okay, 0.63 or 3, -3.14. Okay, let's see what everyone else gets. So X is 16.32. Use your calculator. And you just wait for a few more answers on the chat. 0.63, 3.14. So we have 0.68 and 0.64. Ooh. Yo, guys, what are we doing? But you are supposed to get 2 answers. Don't panic. Don't panic. There are 2 answers. At this point, it's only a matter of rounding off properly. Okay. Whatever mistake you did, it is rounding off. Whoever is wondering why we would need a quadratic formula, that is for factorizing. Where is the 25 coming from? It is b squared, man. Did you not square your b? 5 is b, right? So it's just 5 squared, just 25. Is the b outside always negative? If the b was positive originally, I mean, it was negative originally, then it will become positive because then you have negative, negative. We'll do an example just like that. Thank you for that question. You substitute b as is. That negative that's there is independent of whatever b is in the form, in the expression or equation. Okay. I hope everyone else is trying. So I also got x equals, which is 0.64, or x equals -3,14. If you did not get that, speak now and let's see where we went wrong. Yes, that is what I got, everyone. So remember, you can use the quadratic formula for any quadratic equation, unless stated otherwise, but this works for all quadratic equations. Okay, you just have to know the correct operations and order of numbers. Are we all good? I promised us a brain break, but I'm not doing it. Let's do a brain break, and then we will come and do one last one before we all head home and eat. Ma'am, some of them give us maths error. What did you type? If you have a negative under the square root, then it won't give you a math error. That means you may not have substituted properly. If you get a math error, guys, it means the bottom of your square root is the problem. Oh, I thought Lev was saying me. So I'd be like, but I did.
Oh
What did I
no.
do? Ma'am, how did you get the answers? Do you see all of this? You substituted into your calculator. So first, though, okay, this plus minus might be what's confusing you. This plus minus is what's confusing you. So after this, you're going to say, so x is equal to -5 plus the square root of 57 over 4, or x is equal to -5 minus, okay, if my pen will cooperate, that would be wonderful, square root of 57 over 4. So you do them separately. See, you get it. You do not round off to a whole number. Please do not do that. Do not round off to a whole number. If anything, if they don't say anything, rather 2 decimal places. But if the front of your instructions say specific decimal places, then do that. Yes, ma'am, I get it. You're welcome. Okay, so after this, it's -5 plus. This plus or minus means the one option is plus and the other option is minus. Okay. Are you guys ready for the brain break that almost killed us? Ma'am, can ma'am do another method? You either do the quadratic formula or you complete the square. And you guys didn't like completing the square very much. I feel like everyone was. Yes, yes, it is possible for it to give you a whole number. You can literally use it even when you can make 2 brackets. You know, when you have like a perfect square and you can make 2 brackets, you can still use the quadratic formula as long as it's a quadratic equation. Can we leave it in third form or does it always have to be in decimal form? That depends. For instance, if they say no calculators, then how would you get it in third? I mean, how would you get it in decimal form? That would be very difficult. And if you are going to put it in decimal form when they don't ask, please make sure you round off properly because you don't want to lose marks after you've gotten it correct. Okay, I want to have a challenging one for us. Okay, let's go to the brain break. I keep saying brain break and then I don't go. It doesn't kill me. Show me how to
And
do
Mr. S picked out this one, guys, so
it's
don't
not on
tell us.
well, it doesn't even want to show, so
It's a sign.
it's a sign. Guys,
It's
it
a
is very messy.
sign.
And we all lost our minds a little bit when we saw it. Guys, the brain break doesn't work. What must happen?
You guys can just stretch there at your
Oh,
table.
going to you guys stretch. Yo, sorry. I should probably stretch as well. There we go. Okay.
No.
Here's your brain break. Tell us.
I was so happy it
It
wasn't
was a big
loading.
sign. Trust me, you have no idea how big of a sign it was. Okay, when my father was 31, I was 8. Now he is twice as old as me. How old am I? Okay, go for it,
Let's
guys.
see who will get it first.
Let's see who's gonna get it. We nearly exploded trying to explain this. I got the answer the first time, but then I forgot how I did it.
Peter was like, hey.
Well, 16.
Make
It's
it
not
make
16.
sense.
It's definitely not 16. 47? Question mark,
You
question
are
mark,
more
question mark.
than welcome to try it more than once. Oh, I think I saw the answer coming there.
Really? Oh, I saw it too.
Did you see it, Teacher Cat?
I see it. Wow. There was a lot going on. One of the people who said 23, come unmute and tell us how you got it, because that's our answer.
Please raise your
Who
hand.
said
and tell
hi?
us.
Yeah.
Petero says she knows 23 is the answer.
You
Please tell us.
Googled, Petero. I
Please
see
tell us.
you. Guys, if you get 23, you must be willing to explain how you got 23.
She says, I don't know how though. She's just
Yes,
looking
Caesar.
at the other kids.
This Caesar, come on. It's not
It's
make
not
sure.
make sure.
Well, it can't.
It's kind
You never give me. You never give me my answers, guys. Tell me how you got 23.
Hi, gay.
Guys. tell me how
Anyone
you
like
got-
to raise their hand and
Yes,
tell us how
but
they got
it didn't
23?
account for the half in age. Ntokozo,
Ntokozo is volunteering.
let's hear you, Ntokozo.
Ntokozo disappeared.
Guys, you guys are cheating me because what about the part that says the half? What?
Oh, we have Beverly.
Beverly, let's hear.
Ma'am, I didn't get the answer, but I just want to try. Yeah.
Okay.
I think obviously you have to work out like how old the dad was before the
Yes.
child, like when the child was born. So
Mhm.
31 minus 8 is 23. And then since it says the dad is twice as old as he, no, never mind, ma'am.
Beverly.
I was gonna say,
you guys cheated me. I
I
can't.
was gonna say, since it says like twice as old as he is, like 23 times 2, like the only half of the dad's age is 23. So like 23 times 2
But
is
Kanjan,
20.
you guys the
I don't
challenge.
know.
You guys the challenge error. I see you. Let's
They
let
did.
you know.
Letty.
Hi ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
I said 2x is equals to 31 minus 8, and then 2x is equals to 23.
You said 2x equals to
31 minus 8.
8. That's what you said. Letty. Okay. I was starting something there. Okay, so if my age is X right now, and my dad's age is twice as old as me, so he's 2x. But my dad is minus 23, is 2 years older than me. That means if I take the 23 over to that side, it will be positive 23 equals 2x minus x. Therefore, x is 23. You guys would have gotten 1 mark. This was a question in the exam. I'm just saying.
1 is better than 0, Teacher Cat.
Yeah. Okay, guys. That's fine. Let's go back to what we were doing. We only have 2 minutes left. Do you guys want to do one together? Let's do this one together before we all tap out and go to our quiz, because today is quiz day.
But you have a mean
teacher is
teacher.
slecht. Yes. Phew. Okay, so first you have to put it in standard form, as in ax squared. No, that was a negative. Sorry. Minus 8x minus 7 equals 0. Then you can substitute into our formula, which is up here. So I don't want to rewrite it, so I just want to move it down. Okay, we're going to substitute it into there. So you're going to have x equals, whoever was asking if b is always positive. So you have a minus that's already in the formula, but then you have a negative, which is in b, this one over here. Okay, negative 8 plus or minus the square root of, I should probably sit properly because my handwriting is starting to show secrets here. Negative 8 squared minus 4 times a is 4, c is negative 7. This is a bad habit. Start off by writing down your a, b, c. So your a is 4, b is negative 8, c is negative 7. Your c can only be valid if it's on the same side as all the other terms, okay? Don't try to solve it if they are on two sides. Neville, you can post the quiz link. Whoever wants to stay may stay. I'm just going to finish this off. Here we go. Then you do this over 2, 4. Okay, equals negative is a positive 8, plus or minus, that is 64. Negative and a negative is plus 7, 14, 28 times 4. 80 plus 8, 60, 24. Nope, I'm not going to do this in my mind. Too tight for this. Let's see. It's 4 times 112. I was getting it. 112 all over 8. And then under your square root, you're going to have 64 plus 112, which is 176. Can you write it here? 8 plus or minus the square root of 176 over 8. Then you just pop that in your calculator. And you may go and do the quiz. And thank you for having me.
Thank
Ooh,
you,
I see
Teacher
answers.
Kat. Well done, everyone. Thank you for all your hard work
Well,
and for your participation. Please come back next week.
2,660, or let's see, 8 minus the square root of 176 is divided by 8. Yes, negative 0,66. There you go, guys. Thank you very much for having me.